Raise your hand if you came to San Diego State because you like how all the beaches nearby are very polluted. Didn't think so. San Diego has miles of coastline, and it is important that we keep this clean so that you, I, and everyone else in San Diego can continue enjoying the beautiful beaches in San Diego. I've lived here my whole life, and I enjoy going to the beach to hang out with my friends and to go surfing. I also have read articles by NOAA and the National Geographic and the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Ocean pollution harms the health of the ecosystems within it, and it also can affect our health. The ocean is a place where we go get our food and a place for recreation, so we must take care of it. So, why is ocean pollution bad and how does it affect you? Pollution can affect the food we eat, it can cause harmful toxic algae blooms, and it can make you sick if you swim in runoff. So, harmful chemicals in the ocean can be ingested into animals and then passed along the food chain, eventually ending up on our plate and then can cause negative health effects for us. For example, mercury in the ocean can dissolve into phytoplankton, which creates methylmercury. This then gets transferred into fish that eats the plankton, and then the fish that eats that fish, and so on, and then higher up in the food chain, the animal has more of the chemical in it than the smaller ones. And according to Sherry Winter from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, large predator fish such as tuna contain about 10 million times as much methylmercury as the water surrounding them. So what this means for us is that when we eat these big fish, we're also getting that mercury, and this can cause negative health effects for us. Another problem about pollution is algae blooms. Algae blooms, which is shown here, is basically a bunch of algae that blooms. And algae blooms are naturally occurring, but they can be affected by pollution. Pollution can cause algae blooms to be more intense and to make them more toxic and more harmful to their ecosystems. The way this works is when fertilizer gets polluted into the ocean, it causes the algae to grow a lot more, just like what fertilizer is supposed to do. And so basically what happens is the algae depletes the oxygen levels in the water and can harm the animals because of the toxins that they're releasing. The third problem about ocean pollution is after it rains, all of the trash and chemicals on the water and on land get washed into the ocean, and then when we swim in it, we can get sick because of this. Some of these pollution problems are kind of hard to fix because we can't change the habits of everybody, and some of these things that we are polluting, they're just part of our society, and we can't stop polluting them. For example, plastic is a major pollutant in the ocean, and plastic is very important to our economy because a lot of things are made with plastic because it is very strong, it is moldable, and it's very lightweight. So we can't just stop using plastic. According to NOAA, one of the biggest sources of ocean pollution is called non-point source pollution. Non-point source pollution is caused by runoff, and it's called non-point source pollution because it's not just from one thing. it is the accumulation of many different things. Here's a good diagram kind of depicting what non-point source pollution is. So it kind of, there's urban, suburban development, city streets, rural homes, forestries, croplands, animals. They're all kind of, all the pollution from all those, they come together and then they work their way into the ocean through the rivers. Examples of this are like excess fertilizer that you use on your lawn before it rains, or all the oil and grease off the roads that gets then washed into the rivers, which then gets washed into the oceans, um, and other toxic chemicals that are getting run off into the ocean. And this is very hard to stop because there's no point to it. You can't point and look at, oh, this is the problem. It's just a whole bunch of problems, small little things that accumulate over time. And even though we might not be able to stop all these things completely, it will still help if we're able to limit our pollution. By limiting uses of the things that we pollute into the ocean, we will reduce the effects that it has on the health of marine life and ourselves. So, what can you do to help reduce ocean pollution? Well, one thing you can do is you can go on the Surfrider Foundation's website and sign up for a beach cleanup. These are great to help out the local community. The other thing you can do is you could stop using fertilizer on your lawn at home, especially before it rains. Another thing you could do is stop using single-use plastics, because the more that we use, the more that we pollute. And something that I try to do whenever I go to the beach is I always try to pick up at least one piece of trash, because I know that every little thing makes a difference. And if everyone picked up one piece of trash when they went to the beaches would be a lot cleaner. We pollute into the ocean, and there is not much that we can do to prevent it completely, but we can limit our pollution, and this would help a lot. And it would help. Next time you go to the beach, I challenge you to pick up one piece of trash. It makes a difference.